Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Serena and I am your go-to source for all things sensitive. Welcome back to another episode with me. Today we are going to be talking about why do spiritual people have such a hard time committing. So I've found for myself personally, and of course I can only speak from experience, that committing to me a lot of times feels like a cage. And raise your hand if that's how you feel, like making commitments. This is also super important for the highly sensitive person or the empath, or even just your everyday introvert. Hi, here we are, making commitments. So growing up for me, right, there was a big thing around holidays. So commitments around holidays, right? With my family, we always went to my grandmother's house. So you could bet that whether it was Easter, Christmas, Father's Day, Mother's Day, somebody's birthday, we were most likely going to be going to my grandma's house. And so that was our commitment on a holiday. And so for me, as a highly sensitive person and an empath, knowing that no matter how I felt during that day, even if I was having a really overstimulated day, maybe I had school the day before and I was just burnt out and completely blah. And then knowing I had to be in another environment with people and trying to be a certain way and not letting your sensitivities get to you too much and the family conflict and committing to that was always such a challenge. And it always brought up a lot of conflict in my immediate family as well. Is it be like, Serena's taking too long to get ready, or, we're not going to be there on time. And it was always this really stressful event around committing to doing something or going somewhere. And so a lot of times I think as spiritual people, we want to be these free spirits. We want to be in the flow. We want to, be able to go anywhere, do anything. But that can also be very toxic independence as well when you think about it, okay? So this idea of commitment, right? Oh, sounds scary even when it comes out of my mouth. I'm like, commitment. Oh. So for me, I'm gonna use myself for example. This YouTube video is my own experimentation with commitment. Really, is what it is. So I, of course, committed myself to posting one video a day for 30 days, and there's been some challenges. There's been some hard days with this. I'm not kidding. I'm going to link one of my videos. This was my hardest day up here if you want to watch that. Because commitment to a lot of spiritual people is beep, beep, beep. Here's the cage. There's the bars. Good luck. You're not getting out. And the reason why is because I think there's a misunderstanding of, a lot of spiritual people, especially highly sensitives or empathic, not that you have to be spiritual and be either of those either. It just tends to be kind of common, I've found. But a lot of spiritual people are really in tune with their emotional guidance system, which is our internal guidance based on our emotions and our feelings. And so in a spiritual person's mind, what we are thinking and what we're taught, right, as spiritual people, is to value our emotions above everything else, right? So if we make a commitment, here's your everyday introvert making a commitment to plans with somebody, right? And then that day comes and you're like, oh, I really don't feel like it. I really don't want to go. And so when we commit to something and then we don't follow through with that, what we're actually teaching ourselves is that we are not a safe person to be around, right? So think about, we create our reality, right? And through our word is how we create our reality, through our words and through our actions. And if we aren't honoring our word, then we also are telling ourselves that what I say doesn't matter, right? And so this is how we come into this trap of being small and being disempowered, because psychologically you're teaching yourself that what you say doesn't matter and that you're not a safe person to be around. And then we end up actually becoming exactly like these people or these situations that raised us, where we felt like we weren't able to, like rely on them, right? A lot of us came from backgrounds where we had families that we felt like we couldn't rely on them, or we couldn't be our full selves with them. And so why we feel like commitment is really scary, or can be like a ball and chain, is because we want to honor what we feel in this moment. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to honor how you feel. But you also have to weigh the chances against like what you already committed to, right? And there's a lot of psychology behind this. So you're not alone if you have a hard time committing to things. And believe me, when it's hard, it's really hard. And like I've been seeing this, I've slowly started to, so a lot of you guys might know, I was traveling throughout the continent of Africa for about 4 months. And within that time, I really pretty much had no routines. I didn't do anything consistently, like whatsoever. I didn't eat at the same time every day. I didn't really wake up at the same time. I didn't go to sleep at the same time. We weren't doing the same things every day. We were doing something completely different every single day, sleeping somewhere different every single day. So I didn't have any foundation of routines, and I didn't really have any foundations of ways to make myself feel good. And so when I came back home, and granted, I'm still traveling, so this has been the hardest part for me, is I came home and I created this beautiful morning routine that I love, and now I'm in a completely different place. And that routine is different now, even though, I'm still implementing a routine and trying to. It's been hard to adapt because you get this one routine into place, and then boop, something changes, and it's like, okay, you got to adapt with it. And so pushing through those challenges for me has been actually one of the most rewarding things. And being able to sit there consciously and say, okay, look, I know I don't want to be doing this right now. I don't want to be here right now. And I'm feeling disempowered by this. So how can I actually change my perspective to say, I'm going to honor my word, right? Because think about how different that feels. I don't want to be doing this versus I want to honor my word, right? That's how you bring yourself back into alignment with yourself, is by saying, okay, what was the reason I started this in the beginning? Same thing with YouTube, okay? Did I start making YouTubes every day for 30 days because I wanted comments, or because I wanted likes, or because I wanted people to listen to me? No, I wanted to prove to myself that I could hold a commitment. And so whoever watches it, it doesn't matter to me. Whoever comments on it, it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that I'm still producing one video every single day. And sometimes those videos to me are crap. Sometimes they're just like, why? Why did you even open your mouth that day? Or, sometimes I really don't feel like doing it. But the point is I wanted to prove my word to myself. And so for spiritual people, when we honor, what this moment is right now, that's really important. But it's also important to factor in what you said in that last moment. Because if you're constantly just switching, because we can easily justify not doing anything, right? Well, I don't feel like it, or it's raining outside, or I don't feel good today, or I have some spots on my face, so I'm not looking like camera ready. It's so easy to make excuses. But what you're actually subconsciously doing to yourself is you're not holding yourself accountable, right? So you're saying to yourself, I can make any decision at any moment and change my mind at any moment. And when you do that more and more and more, it actually convinces your mind that you are not a safe person to be around and that you cannot be trusted. And so then your reality starts to reflect that back to you, which is pretty crazy. And you start to get more and more challenges. And I've found this, that the further and further I go into this commitment, there's more and more things that keep coming up that the old me would have said, well, that's too much. This is getting too hard. I'm not going to do it anymore. But part of following through on a commitment is remembering your reason why. And I think a lot of times if we can connect back to that original reason why and that original intention, which was probably a good intention, even when you agreed to go out to dinner with your friends and now you don't feel like it, you probably had a good intention to begin with, right? You probably were in a place where like, oh, Susie, she just really needs support right now. She really needs us to be there. But I don't feel like it because like it's cold out and I'm not that hungry right now. And it's so easy to make excuses. But when you come back to Susie, it's bigger than me, right? It's bigger than myself. And that makes it a lot easier to connect to what your commitment and what your intention is. So that is why so many spiritual people or, highly sensitive or empaths have trouble committing. But trust me, it gets easier. And there's a really amazing sense of like fulfillment and accomplishment that comes with like knowing that you did that thing that you said you were going to do. Like, even if that's the only, like, thing that you get out of it, like, maybe you hated the whole experience, but you're like, look, I did the thing that I said I was going to do, and I'm proud of myself for that. Like, that's a pretty awesome feeling, I'm not going to lie. With that being said, thank you, everybody, for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. And I will see you on another episode. Big love, Serena.